Hey everybody, what's going on? Hexlex here. Got another Master Duel video for you. So, you might notice that we are actually in Master Duel meta and not in Master Duel itself, not just yet anyway. We are today going to be taking a look at this Runick Four Hire list that got top 16 in Master Circuit Series 2, Week 2, piloted by none other than Meep2, friend of both myself and the channel. He is with us here today. Welcome, Meeps.
Hey Hex, how's it going?
Not too bad, not too bad. How you doing today?
I am doing well.
Good, good.
So as Hex said, I am a YouTube content creator. You can find me on YouTube at Meep2YGO, and I do a lot of Master Duel guides and gameplay.
Yeah, so I'm going to have those also linked in the description below. I'll probably throw them in a pinned comment as well. Definitely go ahead and check out Meeps. Meeps, you're like really close to 1K subs, and I think we could pretty easily get you there. So everyone go ahead and give Meeps not only a watch, but a sub as well. If you like the content I make, you're going to love the stuff Meeps makes. He is an excellent duelist. So also, a lot of you in the comments in the past have asked about Runick Four Hire, which is not a deck that I have. I don't have all the cards for it, but not only do we have somebody who, of course, plays the deck, but again, has piloted it to a top cut in one of the biggest Master Duel tournament series that is out there. So, Meeps, if you want to tell us a little about the list and or the tournament, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so here I brought my Four Hire Runick Spright build. I just really love Spright. So I just needed to find a way to make it work. In week 1, I did bring pure Spright to some success, but we did end up bubbling out of the tournament. So I practiced with this in the Duelist Cup and got to max level with this specific build.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. So there's like 4 things that you have to consider if you do want to play this deck. And notably, one of them is a positive and 3 negatives.
Okay.
But I do feel like the one positive outweighs the other 3.
Right on.
So the first positive is this deck is just so good going first. Like the amount of advantage you can get with your Fur Hires, with your Spright, with your Runick cards, all meshing well together is just like unbelievable.
Yeah, deck seems like it gains a lot of advantage very, very quickly. Both the Four Hire and Runick engines are both, like, very much about drawing a lot of cards. Like, it's not uncommon to, like, draw 6 cards in a turn. Like, aside from your draw from turn as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, like, even if you consider you have, like, a bad starting hand, you will generally have a way to just, like, draw what you need.
Excellent, excellent. So yeah, we're seeing the main and the extra deck here, and this was card for card the list you played in the Duelist Cup as well?
Yes, that is correct.
Right on. So how'd you like the Drolls in particular? So you got a play set of the main here.
So that was like the last card, like the 39th card of my deck. I was debating between Droll and Evenly, but I felt like if I was to go second and my opponent was able to set up a board, if they have a negate up, I would need exactly to use my runic spells in the battle phase for me to activate evenly matched, which seems like a hard thing to do. So I just thought that it would be easier to just prevent them from playing turn 1 with Droll.
Right on, that makes sense. So, and actually, I might be getting a little bit ahead of myself talking about the tech first. Why don't, for those of us who are unfamiliar with the deck, because I've seen you play with it quite a bit, but, you know, I'm not intimately familiar with, like, how the combo lines work, per se, but for those who don't know, like, about this deck at all, what's a general breakdown of what Runick Four Hire Spright in particular is trying to do?
So what you want to do is get access to your Fur Hire lines with Rex, and you can do that by searching it with Fossil Dig or just having hard drawn the Rex, right? Usually those are the 2 most common ways to do it. And we would usually open with our Runick side of the deck to bait out their negates or ashes. So we would summon Hugin, discard a card to add the Fountain, and then from there see what they do. Then we would normal summon Rex, and that will let us add Runick Four Hire to our hand, which then we can tribute a level 2 monster, Hugin, a Spright, or the Rex, and then that will let us special summon Beat from the deck.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So from there, we would just try to find a way to summon another Fur Hire using either Beat's effect or with Donner. So we would link 2 into Donner, use Donner's effect to tribute itself, and then summon back exactly Beat first, and then Rex from the grave.
It's easy to forget that Donner actually has like the in-archetype effect, because like I'm sure most people, myself included, pretty much just pop cards with this, but it turns out when you're actually playing it for higher deck, it's like 10 times better.
Yeah, it's so amazing. And I actually made my Beat Royal specifically for this interaction, because if I'm like autopiloting the deck, I just need to know that I click the shiny card first. You know?
I love it. Royal finish giving a tactical advantage. That's good.
Yeah, then from there, you know, after we summon specifically Beat first, it actually lets us add Rafale from our deck to our hand, which we can then summon using Beat's effect. It has like 2 effects, so it's like amazing. And then from there, we can like excavate for 2, add a card that we need, so maybe a Runick or a Spright card. And then we just link into our Folgo into our link 3, which will then summon Donpa from our deck, and then we will just go into our Spright plays from there.
Gotcha. Donpa being the level 2. Yeah, the wild thing about the Rafale here is that, and I always forget this, because you would think, oh, it excavates a for hire card. No, it excavates any card based on the number of for hires you control, which is pretty wild, honestly, that you can grab anything. That's really, really good.
Yeah, and it also has a bonus effect, you know, so if you're not too familiar with it, if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can negate it by discarding a for hire card from your hand.
Oh yeah, just casually adding, you know, any card and then, you know, negating any monster effect.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's very good. It's very good. So yeah, and then you said from there we kind of just go into the Spright line. It also helps that Rex, our main for hire monster, is also level 2, definitely.
Exactly. And then if we are in like a situation where it's kind of weird, we do have our fallback plan of going into Mannequin Cat. And it's pretty good because if you're playing against like Dragon Link, you know, Rafale is a dragon for whatever reason. It's also a light, so if you're playing against Pearly and they just normal summon like the regular white Pearly, then that's just a free Rafale, in case you didn't have access to it on your turn.
Oh, okay, I see. Gotcha. Oh yeah, so it, like not only does this deck have plays, but it also sounds like it's like not even particularly bad in this meta either. How did you like it playing in the Duelist Cup in the tournament, just as far as like the meta goes?
Well, when I was playing it in the Duelist Cup, I did notice that this specific build has a very bad matchup against like Pearly going second specifically, just because to out it we would need Goddess. And that was the only way to out it, would be like Goddess, or we would just deck them out. And decking them out is a lot harder, just because our full hand going second might just trade for their Noir.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, so then I just had to, the Droll was just like the best option for this deck.
Gotcha, yeah, because that definitely, I mean, it's generally just good, period, but also being able to, just shut down Pearly altogether, it seems pretty good. It's funny because some people might see this and think like, well, okay, your deck draws a lot, doesn't Droll conflict? But it seems to me like stopping Pearly is important enough that like, did you ever have times where you felt this conflicted with your ability to draw off stuff like Fountain during your opponent's turn?
Not at all. Usually if I knew that I'm going to be drawing this turn, I would just not use it. You know?
Right. Right. That makes sense.
I think in one of the games that we will be seeing, like I did use Droll going on my opponent's first turn when they were going second, and it was just like the game-winning move that I had.
Right, and that's fair too. You know, if you're playing it for your opponent's first turn, then you're obviously not going to have the Fountain in play anyway. So.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, and then going back to Mannequin Cat really quick.
Yes.
If they do use like a Maxx or something, and then you were able to negate it, we can then summon the Maxx back, and if we also have access to Folgo and some way to pop that Maxi on their board, we will then get to draw another 3 cards on our first turn.
That's so good. That's so good. Yeah, Folgo is like kind of an insane. It's funny how like the Fur Hire cards are actually like. It just, I'm honestly surprised this deck doesn't see more play, because you like read each individual card and you're like, oh, this seems busted. Oh, this seems busted too. Wait, these cards are all insane.
Right. Yeah, and then depending on the meta that you're playing in, they also have like burn and like life gain like monsters. So that could be like an option should the meta change drastically.
Or if you're in a tournament and it's getting close to time.
Yeah. That did come up.
Yeah, that's relevant.
Go to time.
That is relevant, and this definitely seems like it's a deck that's like geared to play the long game if it needs to as well.
Yep, exactly.
Right on. I'll scroll down a little bit here too, so people can see your side deck. And I don't know if you want to talk about your side deck for a bit, or like what you were thinking about siding in each respective matchup, so on and so forth.
Yeah. So the Zeus here might look kind of weird. I really only did that just in case there was like a Kashtira player in top 16, which there wasn't.
There was not one. Not a single one. 16% and not one.
Right, so there was just a dead card. The only match that I played in top 16 was against Dragon Link, and surprisingly, I didn't side Red Reboot going second. I really should have. I was like, what traps do they even play? And then they proceeded to EEV me.
Oh, that'd do it. That'd do it. Yeah. The Eradicator Epidemic Virus. Yeah, it seems like it might be a pretty decent card against you.
Yeah. Aside from that, Change of Heart, Thrust, Tactics, generally good cards to have going second. Because I just felt like going first, like it's in the bag. Like,
yeah,
it's very hard to beat me going first.
Yeah, it makes sense. And yeah, it seems like we have a really nice like just triple tactics thrust toolbox here. It's a lot of good power spells.
Even like the pointer would have been good.
Got the D barrier as well. Is that for like that would be for I'm assuming obviously Pearly, like that would really help in addition to Droll going first against them.
Exactly, and it wouldn't really help much against like Dragon Link, which was unfortunate.
Right, because you can only stop synchro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Oh, poor Deer Barrier, preceded links, and we do not have a keyword for extract monsters. So, but anyway, yeah, this deck seems pretty rad. And just again, the ability. I just think it's wild that you can draw 6 cards per turn. That's actually just insane. We have a few duels that we're going to take a look at here. Go
ahead. So we talked about like the positive, like the one overarching positive
right.
of this deck.
Let's talk about the negatives. Yeah.
So obviously the first one is the deck has a hard time going second. And if you were to go second, you would exactly need like a hand of Droll or Maxi, Ash, and access to Rex, and like 2 runic spells. Like if you don't open exactly that, it's pretty hard.
Oh wow, it's like 6 exact cards you need.
Yeah, because you need the Maxi or Droll to like prevent your opponent from playing. Ash for like I don't know, like a Maxi on your turn, or like if it was against Labyrinth, you can stop one of their welcome spells. And then you would need the runic spells for the Runick Fountain access, and then Rex to go into your Spright or into your Fur Hire plays.
Right, that makes sense.
And then the second con of this deck, I suppose, is there's very little room for non-engine. Like if you take out the Drolls, the Maxis, and the Ash, that's a 33 card core.
Yeah, I'm noticing that for sure.
Yeah, so it's difficult going second when you're siding, just because you need your core cards anyways, and you don't have that many like flex spots for tech cards aside from those 9 cards. Oh, and then of course the last thing is when in the format where Labyrinth and Thrust is like popular, you are just gonna get eradicated all the time. You're gonna get anti-spelled. You know, it's just these things that you have to be aware of.
Yeah, I mean, literally the deck that won the tournament was on those cards. How many times did you get Eradicator total during the tournament? It was quite a few, wasn't it?
Just twice.
Oh, just twice.
But that was more than enough.
I was gonna say. Oh, I was gonna say yeah, because I saw both times and both times it happens, it's so devistating.
Oh, and the worst part was they both hard drew it.
Oh, of course they did. Of course they did. They give you that like false hope of like, oh, they didn't search it, but then of course you realize like, oh wait, they didn't search it, which means yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd still think that getting to top 16 might be the limit of Runick right now. Because last week or in week 1, we also have like a Naturia Runick player that failed to convert to like top 8. So just because of how easy it is to side against, I think it is good in a best of 1, but in a best of 3, it's very difficult.
True, and you know what? Now that you say that, especially the thing is too, like it seems like the deck gets pretty hard countered by stuff that people are already citing, like Drolls, like the spell trap hate they're bringing for lab and stuff like that. Like the Dragon Link that was already packing Eradicator, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so you know, pick your poison, I suppose.
Right. But still, again, top 16 though again the Master Circuit series is well over 200 people, which is like again that's one of the largest tournament series in Master Duel. So, congrats yet again. That is quite the accomplishment.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, so we're gonna see a few games, and a couple of those are even gonna be from the Master Circuit series. So, shall we go ahead and take a look at those?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so we're gonna hop in here with the first game. We're gonna take a look at. I believe this is an MCS game. Is that right?
Yes, this is round 3.
Right on. So, what was your record? How were you feeling going into this round?
I was undefeated still in round 3. My first loss was in round 7, I believe.
Gotcha. So, it looks like we are taking the first turn. This looks like a great hand, and the opponent is on Speedroids and Kashtira's. And, you know, the Terror Top might be like, okay, that's kind of generic, but no, here is the speed recovery as well, so...
So we just open with Slumber, and we do win the Maxi minigame.
We do, because we have the Ash Blossom, yep.
So here, our hand is a bit weird, just because we opened with like 1 spell with 2 sprites. So here we just discard... Oh, nope, actually. I forgot how this game goes.
It's all good. No, I do this all the time. So yeah, we're going into the Donner here. But I mean, it's funny because you say we only have the sprites, but that still seems like it's going to be quite a bit of plays here.
Yeah, getting access to our sprites and having them protect our plays with like Carrot negating Imperm or like Red negating like a monster effect. It's just so good.
So good. Looks like we got Beat bringing out the Rafale here, and we get the Fossil Dig here for the Rex. We still have a normal summon? Or can we special summon this?
We don't.
Oh, we don't, from hand, right, with the Donner.
Yep, exactly.
Beautiful. Now this is, yeah, for hire, Monster Reborn pretty much. Going into the Folgo here. Such a cool animation.
Yeah, and this gets us access to our Donpa. And then we just go into like further sprite plays.
With the Royal Jet, oof, so good. Definitely spying on my opponent's, or our opponent's Royal Crossout as well.
We only really play 1 starter. Just because we just need 1. We don't really want the rest of the sprite cards.
That makes sense. We're just using like an engine here. It's not like a Spright deck. Necessarily. Okay, so they have the Unicorn. We're bringing back the Rafale. And we can destroy it.
Yep.
So good.
So that pops it. We get to excavate and draw a card.
Oh, pick your poison. Oh my god. That's so good. Whew, that was pretty good. I mean, they do have the cross out here, but still. Just imagine being Shadow Slayer, like sitting across from this board and then, because that's an excavate, that shows your opponent, I believe, right? And then just seeing those cards and being like, oh, good.
Yep, it sure does.
That's good.
So then we still get to draw here, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And just draw 3. There's the Droll anyway.
And the Droll, yep. So I let this go because I was like, what could they possibly add here? But then they added Dark Ruler, which then I drolled, and then they had to like skip their turn.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, yeah, they could shut down your board, but they have like nothing else at this point with the Droll there. So looks like we're rolling into our Runick plays now, as we have the Runick cards from the Folgo draws.
Yeah, so here I just continue my Fur Hire lines, trying to build as much advantage as we can, going into the Dark Ruler next turn.
That's right, because we do know it's coming. Would you consider this more of like a control deck?
I think so. Yeah, that's definitely what it would be classified under.
Mm-hmm. Definitely seems like it.
So here I just did that plays to get the additional draw, and then we can do it again next turn, possibly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's the Dark Ruler, but it doesn't seem like they have too much. Yeah, they're just gonna battle. Oh, to get it off the board, yep.
I forgot it was negated. That's why I activated it. So good thing it didn't have thrust.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that, but true. Because sometimes I'll just activate it. Sometimes I'll activate it just to get it to stop asking me, but that does proc with the triple tack cards.
And even under Dark Ruler, we still got to draw 3 cards.
Yeah, we have like every Runick spell here, including the Dispelling. So there goes the which one was that? The Marble Machine. Now they have the rubber band. Well, they had the rubber band shooter. Yeah, because that's not an on summon effect. That's just a activated effect, isn't it? So. Well, now they have nothing.
So here we add. Yeah, and then we get to add Rex, which is another enabler for our monster negate. So we have 2 monster negates right now, not even including our spells in hand. So we're not really worried about anything.
No, not at all.
But I did try to like not use any of my Runick spells, just so we have a battle phase next turn.
Right. Because like, as you know, as good of a control strategy as this is, we do also like need to end the game at some point.
Right.
Oh my god, that's absurd. That's so absurd. Folgo is so good. I don't know, whenever I watch you play, it does make me want to play this deck, especially because, like, you know, as much as I do complain about my Royal luck, I do have a Royal Donner, so it's like, you know.
Oh yeah, that by itself. You should play it.
I do want to, but I think it's like 9. I'd have to craft like 9 URs to build it.
Yeah, that is pretty steep.
It's a bit. The fossil digs mainly. But because see, like, you know, then maybe I could try dinosaurs, but that's also a lot of URs. But yeah, I mean, that just seems like a pretty standard kind of control game. We just ground them out until, like, gaining advantage over them until we have, like, they have literally nothing. We have a total of, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Casual plus 17 advantage on the opponent, you know? That's ridiculous.
Yeah. One of the biggest selling point for this deck for me was it reminded me of just how good Adamantipator was in building advantage going first. And because, you know, Block Dragon is banned, I just needed something to fill that void.
If we can't search 3 rock monsters, I'm just gonna draw 6 cards. Fine.
Yep, exactly.
That's good. All right, yeah, that was a great duel, and we got a couple more great duels to see here as well. Let's go into the next one. All right, we have yet another MCS game here, and this one is going to be 16 turns, so definitely a grind game here.
Yep, so we are going second versus Labyrinth. That just opened everything I need to counter my deck.
Because it's funny, you said in the profile, like, you know, we want to open Rex and a couple of Runick spells. It's like, okay, we have that, but then you see this sitting across from us, and it's like, oh.
But at least we had two Fur Hire names, so we can still play.
Right, right. Oh, God, they have like everything here.
But then we opened the other Rex too. So here they do their big welcome plays, but I thought it was pretty strange that they got Lady. But then, you know, obviously we get to see why in just a second.
Yeah. Yeah, because you would expect Lovely here, except, yeah.
We just try to use as many spells as we can.
Yeah.
Which is only one.
Oh. We do get the beat, though.
So right here, if you pause for a second.
Yes, yes.
My thought process on this was, I didn't know how this would this would play out.
It's like it's worth trying at least, right? Like
I am not beyond like, you know, doing science in the middle of a tournament because I just needed to know, like, if it did work out the way I thought it would, you know, that would just be amazing, and we would just have won this game. But
so
unfortunately, it didn't.
Did it not work? Okay, so I wonder if we had had a spell on the field, would it have worked? Did we have one like that got destroyed on the field?
Yeah, it was the Fur Hire that was resolving.
Okay, so that wasn't it. Because I would think I would have actually done the same thing here, because the way I would have interpreted it was, all right, if I have a spell on the field that's being destroyed by Eradicator, and Hugin is a replacement for the entire destruction, that would save my hand as well. So yeah, I would think it would work the same way based on Yu-Gi-Oh and its wording, you know.
Yeah, but hopefully, I mean, thankfully, it didn't really matter.
Yeah,
at the end of it.
We do still have, like you said, for higher plays that we can do here.
Yep, so beat gets us Rafale, and then we get to summon it. You attempt to draw one, but then they imperm it. And then they do something very strange here. And they pop? They pop it, but I don't know why.
Interesting. I wonder if, like... Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting, because imperm negates, like, both effects, so it's not like the Rafale can negate the Stovey that they're going to try to activate here. I wonder if this is because, like, people are just less familiar with Fur Hire. I feel like people, when they come up against an archetype they tend to be less familiar with, they might be a little bit more cautious. I mean, that'd be my guess here.
Yeah, probably, and they might have just wanted an extra draw. Because I didn't have a battle phase, so there wasn't, like, you know, I wasn't never going to attack with anything this turn.
Yeah, and you had, like, everything in defense mode, too. They did get the Chrono Cannon.
Oh, so just here, we're just flexing our Spright side of the deck now?
Oh, okay, right on. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're never going to hear complaints from me about that.
Yeah, still pretty good.
Very, very good. Right,
so we go for the carrot. And then I just use my second elf here, too.
Makes sense, yeah. I do have the Stovey getting the regular welcome.
So they sent the Ariana away, which was another strange move from them.
Yeah, because
I would have just governed.
Oh, but they're just the best player in the world, so it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Oh my god. That's ridiculous. Yeah, because the Ariana represents, like, just continuous cycling advantage here. That was a bit odd, but yeah, it didn't seem like it mattered.
And arguably here, my placement of Gigantic could have been under Elf, but I felt like I valued the spell that I get from Rex more than, you know, getting to use Gigantic once again next turn.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So our Rex trades for their welcome, which was such a good trade
for
me.
Yes, extremely good trade. And yeah, very good thing they didn't have the Lovely here to stop the carrot there.
So they go for the big welcome, but then they didn't activate it right away before I could set up.
Yeah, wait, what? They just let you get a level 2? Okay.
Yeah, so now I'm just like, you know, free rolling it.
I actually remember this part distinctly from watching it live during the tournament.
Yeah, and we still end up with 3 Fur Hires on board, which gets us, you know, 2 excavates and 1 add.
So I wonder, I actually kind of want to pause for a second. So what if they had big welcomed during the draw phase? What would that have looked like for us there? They would have summoned
they
a
would have-
Lovely, right? Probably.
Yes, they would have summoned Lovely and then pop a card from our hand, which was either of the Fur Hires.
Would that have stopped us? Would that have been enough?
In the grind game, yes, we would have definitely lost because then they get to set welcome back to their field, and then they would just get to keep their lady because they bounce it back and then they get it back on the field. We would have just lost. That was
Yeah. Well, I wondered. Yeah, that was interesting.
Because here, without anything protecting the lady, we can just pop it, and that's like the biggest threat off the board.
That is, yeah. And now they just have the now they just have the Ariana. Do we? I forget if we have a battle phase. Well, yeah, because we haven't had spell cards, so we do.
And arguably, I could have put the monsters in attack position, just so we can do more damage.
But it's pretty negligible. I feel like at this point. Oh, they did
And here they drew. Yeah, I was like,
God.
So I used Rex to add Mayhem to my hand, just so we can negate and protect Rafale. Because that's the most important card that we control right now.
For sure.
But they do get to add another Fenrir to their hand, so that we have to contend with again next turn. And then on the last turn of Eradicator.
Last one. Yeah, because that's the other thing too about control decks, right? Like, you got to be so focused on the grind game. Like with combo or like, quote unquote regular decks, you can think more about OTKing, but control decks you just constantly have to be thinking about the next turn.
Exactly. And then here, I did just really want to protect my Rafale because I don't have any more negates left, so I just opted to go into the IP. So then if they summon Fenrir, we can, at the cost of everything that we own, we can, get rid of it.
Right.
And it might be a bit questionable, like sending Fountain to the grave just to shuffle back their one Fenrir. But then in my head, I thought that if I just drew any Runick spell, I could use it to get into Geri, and then Geri would just add back the Fountain anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. We have a lot of really good top decks, and there's a Runick spell.
But they have D-Barrier.
Oh, that's right. Because this player has, God on their side with these draws. I mean, they have the Dogmatica Church, too. They must have just been praying. Oh my God, we're in a top deck war. Setting the Imperm.
And we open with Maxi. We just pass. Surely they won't have anything.
Surely. Oh my God. They really just keep top decking every counter for you.
Yeah. And there he is.
There he is.
Spright Blue.
Our boy.
Gets...
Little boy Blue getting Ash Blossomed. That's fine at this point. It's that's fine. Actually, what do we have left in our extra deck? We have quite a bit. Okay.
We go into our other Donner. So then here they have to do this or they just lose.
Right. But we're definitely up now.
Yep. And our 2 cards traded for their 2 cards, which makes me really happy.
They set it, okay. That's interesting that they set it. They're not. Well, I guess you're gonna activate the effect here.
Yeah.
And then you just win.
So here,
yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Would you have attacked with beat first?
Okay, actually, I want to pause here, because I actually distinctly remember this moment during the tournament, and everyone in chat was saying attack with B, and I'm not gonna lie, I got caught up in the hype, and I was like, swing with B. But the real answer is no. I think I would attack with the, because, I don't know, yeah, you are, not killing them, but you're also so up on life points, and we were talking about this earlier, that time is very much a factor in tournaments, and I think you were at, 2 minutes, or, sub 2 minutes at this point? I think you were at sub 2 minutes by this point, weren't you?
Yeah, so we only had, 2 minutes left, so I knew that, no matter what it was, I don't think they would be able to catch up on life points.
Yeah. It's we don't have to, we don't have to win right this second. Again, we have, and again, they're in complete top deck mode, And I think we are pretty comfortably at a point where there's not much they can feasibly. Plus, we have the destruction too. Like this is so good here.
Yeah, so even if they open any trap card, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
even
it
if
just
we lose our
doesn't
battle
matter.
phase. Yeah.
And it's funny because again, chat here was saying attack with beat, but here it was the good move to not. And yeah, it could easily be Ash Blossom or again, just anything. Like, more than 1200 defense isn't a big ask. Oh, and then, yeah, right at the very end, you show them the Droll, because that was right when time was called, right?
Exactly. Yep, that is what happened. And then looking back at it, I think the game-winning move there was spinning back their Fenrir, just because of how the deck was shuffled and their subsequent draws from it.
That's true. That's true. I like the idea that we putting back the Fenrir altered the timeline.
Yep, there was exactly one way we were gonna win, and that was it.
That's good. Well, this was I think this was by far the most hype match of the whole tournament. And I know we're only 2 weeks in, but definitely one of the most hype matches of the MCS this season overall. Just the fact that you got EEV'd, and not only we're still able to push through, but again, just if we can, the whole idea of if we can just get the duel to last at least one more turn and just keep going. And then, yeah, we end up in top deck wars. Oh, so good. That was such a good game.
Yep, it was one of my favorites.
Hell yeah. All right, so those are the 2 MCS games. There is one other duel that we're going to show you as well that I thought was very interesting and really just shows how flexible this deck can be. So let's go into that.
Yep, sounds good.
All right, so tell us a little bit about this last game we're going into here.
So here we are going first versus Cash Tira.
Okay, right on.
It was just one of my casual games on, Master 1.
I mean, Master 1 is pretty much casual at that point, but...
Yeah.
All right, we have a pretty good opening hand here, it looks like.
Yeah, so we open with our 1 Runick spell. Ooh. And here they shifter us.
Yeah. That seems like it could potentially be a problem.
But with our hand exactly, it really isn't.
So we do have plays under shifter, okay.
Yeah, the worst thing that Shifter does for this deck is getting rid of our spells. But since we only really had the 1, and they use Ash here too, so they're just hand looping themselves. We are fine. We are so fine.
I love that they're hand looping themselves. I mean, they pretty much are at this point.
And we did go for the blue first, for the red negate, because the only thing that we're worried about now is Nibiru. Nothing else.
But yeah, literally nothing else. Also, I wanna say that this is my favorite part of playing literally any Spright variant. I love getting disrupted and still having the 2, and then just being all right, blue, red, jet. It's such a good feeling because you just know your opponent's thinking fuck.
Yeah. It's a rough matchup for them.
It's good. It's good.
So we tribute our Hugin, and then we just go into Donner. So then we get to add Rafale from our deck. And then we get to summon it.
And they're just done at this point. I mean, that's pretty typical of Master 1, but that's so good. That's so good that we not only got shifted, but also Ash Blossomed, and you would think, especially hearing a Runick deck getting shifted and Ash, you'd be like, oh, it's just over for them. But no, not for us. Not for us here.
All right. With the different lines that we just have access, with the different lines we have access to, we can play around many of the different hand traps available. It's just Droll and Maxi exactly. Then we have to struggle.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So yeah, those are the games. That was the profile. Again, feel free to check out the links in the description and/or pinned comment below. To check out Meeps' channel. And he is so close to 1,000 subs, guys. We can get him there. Easy. So, Meeps, any other words for us before we sign off here?
I think I'm just thinking about what will be playing in week 3. I will probably be. I think it's time for me to go back to my roots and play branded.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So I will be playing that for 2 weeks straight, and see what happens.
Well, right on. Well, I wish you best of luck in future MCSs, and this is definitely not going to be the last time that we have you here on the channel. So, again, everyone, go check out Meeps, and with that, I think we'll just go ahead and move to our outro. Alright everybody, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching it all the way to the very end. That means a whole lot to me, and it's also a fantastic way to support the channel. And if you're interested in supporting the channel in other ways besides YouTube, there are plenty of ways to do that. If you check out the description below, you'll find a bunch of links down there. One of them goes to my Patreon. You're actually seeing the names of everyone subscribed to the Patreon on the screen right now. So if you're interested in getting your name in the credits here at the end, if you want to see more daily Master Duel content, or if you're interested in one-on-one private coaching sessions, I offer all of that on Patreon. I also stream live on Twitch. Feel free to go ahead and click that link and follow and or subscribe there. I also have the Discord community, if you want to follow that link, where hundreds of duelists have already signed up. Free to join, and you can just come hang out, talk about the game, and chill in general. Final link that's going to be in the description is my Twitter. You can follow that if you want some more notifications of what's happening with the channel. So, all in all, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day.